Namaskar. This is Maheshwar Satpathy. I'm your friend. I'm here to talk about Mr. Adani. Adani has become the richest conglomerate in India and the third richest in the world. Therefore, it's important to talk about Adani, Mr. Adani, his contributions to India, and who he is and how he became so rich. There have been lots and lots of articles which have been written in the past few weeks which have focused completely on how Adani grew from literally paupers to becoming such rich in the world. So, who is behind this richness? Who is behind all these riches? Who is behind him becoming the most prominent oligarch in the history of India and also in the world? So, let's talk about it. But at the same time, let's also talk about, is it all his own wealth? Is all this wealth actually his own, or he has actually got it from somewhere else? Or is it actually well gotten money, or is it ill gotten money? So these issues demand a lot of our attention, and therefore we must analyze these issues. If you look at the facts and go by the figures, basically Adani Group's debt is going up to 2.6 trillion rupees today in terms of market value. The analysis have pointed out that while debt levels may have gone up, the cash flows for the group have also grown steadily, with more assets coming on stream and becoming operational. As you know, that the government of India is selling and giving away all its national assets almost like free to Mr. Adani. I have no idea and no clue as to what's behind that and why Mr. Modi, Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, is actually giving away all the national properties to Mr. Adani. So that's another day, and probably we'll have a chat about that. The recent acquisition by the Adani Group of cement maker Holcim's India businesses is expected to add another rupees 40,000 crore to the conglomerate's debt, taking it to approximately rupees 2.6 trillion rupees. An analysis by Credit Suisse showed. So the Gautam Adani-led group has seen its debt levels increase over the past 5 years, from rupees 1 trillion to rupees 2.2 trillion, fueled by the expansion of the ports business, investment in green energy, the acquisition of transport businesses, and venturing into newer areas, for example, Adani enterprises such as airports, roads, and data centers. Analysts at Credit Suisse noted that while the gross debt levels may have risen, the group has managed to diversify its debt in favor of bonds and financial institution FI lenders with longer maturity tenors. As compared to about 86% of debt maturing within 5 years at the end for financial year 16, debt levels of rupees 1 trillion, only 26% of the debt is now maturing in less than 5 years, they pointed out. In terms of currency, approximately 30% of the overall debt is denominated in foreign currency. Moreover, as the absolute levels of Indian bank loans to Adani have remained stable over the past 5 years, with all due credits to the Mr. Narendra Modi and also known as Government of India, Adani have remained stable over the past 5 years. Their share of the group's total debt has come up significantly to just about 18%. But is that actually the reality? The reality is that Mr. Adani has cited to all the banks that he has borrowed money from that he is unable to pay, which is quite problematic if you have to analyze his financial condition and all this data that you are listening from me and reading about in all prominent newspapers which feature him. The analysts also have pointed out while debt levels may have gone up, the cash flows for the group have also grown steadily. Obviously, you know where the money comes from, with more assets coming from stream and becoming operational. As such, the net debt EBITDA at group level has come up to around 5 times in financial year 22, compared with a little less than 7.5 times in financial year 16. The interest cover for the group 2 has increased to more than twice now, versus 0.9 times in financial year 16. Overall, most group companies saw debt levels rise in financial year 22 as they continued to invest. However, barring Adani transmission, the interest cover has remained stable for these entities with improving operations. Adani Green saw a good improvement in the operationalization of assets, and consequently the sharp jump in debt has not impacted the interest servicing ability of the firm. Recently, an analyst in the credit desk at Nomura Holdings in Hong Kong observed that with the Abu Dhabi based International Holding Co. ISC injecting $500 million into Adani Green Energy, the firm's debt to capital ratio would fall. The equity infusion will help stabilize the company's debt to capital ratio in the low 60% range from 95.3% at the end of March. That is, ISC's support will be reflective when the company unveils its second quarter balance sheet details. The analyst said, noting that the infusion of funds reflect Adani Green's equity ability to raise funds. ISC has invested about $2 billion in three companies owned by Gautam Adani. The Adani conglomerate has committed to invest a total $70 billion across its green energy value chain by 2030 to become the largest renewable energy producer. While the analyst said the Adani Group's aggressive expansion is a negative overhang for credit investors as much as the M&A recently has been debt funded, he noted that the conglomerate has demonstrated prowess at locking down external investors to soar up capital. So, having presented this, I also want to ask you, like, do you really believe that Adani Group is going to pay all the debt that it has taken from overseas investor as well as from Indian banks, majorly Indian banks, because he has taken a lot of loan from State Bank of India and other banks of India? Do you think that he is able to, or he will actually pay off all that money, or will the government of India actually waive up all that loan in eventually, just because he shows himself as one of the largest employers or as one of the largest conglomerates in India? So this is for tonight. Please think, reflect, and do comment back. I look forward to hearing from you, and that's all for today. But I'll be coming back to you with another news very soon. Thank you. Bye.